Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Business of Property. I'm your host, Cheryl Leong from Property Development Australia. At the Business of Property, we interview superstar guests in the property development space that share their expertise, their deals, their stories to help empower, build, and grow our community of property developers and investors. So, hello to Facebook land, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you are joining us today. Give me a shout out and put your comments below if you're watching live, or hashtag replay if you're watching the replay. So I know that this week's episode's a little bit different because you're thinking payments, rewards points, developments. What does this all have to do with property development and property development business? Well, do I have something special for you? Our guests tonight are from payments platform pay.com.au, and we have Irene and 𝐿𝐿, who are going to share a little bit about how you can earn rewards points in your development business, right? So I'm talking about developments projects, not just businesses, as in if you're a buyer's agent or whichever, which is you can also leverage. But I'm talking about development projects, and this is a game changer. And also for the builders out there, make sure you have a listen, because you can make business payments such as your consultants bills to ATO bills and even payroll if you have payroll, and earn rewards points for each of them. So I'm not going to sort of spoil what's happening. Oh, is this hello? Is this pay.com? Shh, maybe. Now, 𝐿𝐿 and Irene, I'm going to invite you onto the Business of Property dance floor for you to share a little bit about how we can leverage this amazing platform. Hello there, guys. How are you?
Hey, Cheryl. Thanks for having us. Irene, I think you're on mute.
Unmute thyself. Just the button.
Just at.
There we go. A bit of technical difficulties.
We're rocking and rolling. Hello, guys. Hi, Irene, 𝐿𝐿. Thank you so much for joining us. So cool to have you here, and I'm really, really excited because this was really a game changer for me and my business. And those of you that are real devout listeners to the Business of Property, a few months ago, we had a guest who came on board and shared around how we could get rewards points through credit cards. But the problem is that not everyone, and especially when you're talking about property development, they don't take credit card payments, or particularly, AMex cards. But so what we're going to be talking about is wanting to find out how we can leverage not just credit card payments, but all the expenses in your development project for rewards points. I'm going to head over to you, Irene. You're the head of growth of pay.com.au. Tell us a little bit. I know you've got a few slides as well, so feel free to pop them up. Tell us a little bit about pay.com.au and what this platform does.
Absolutely. So pay.com.au, we essentially are a business payments platform, and the idea is that we turn every single dollar you hardworking business owners, property developers spend into the ultimate rewards to be spent however you like. So to give you a bit of background as to where we're from, who's behind us, and how we came to be, we were established by the founders of 𝐈𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐞 and the owners of Point Hacks. So through their time of running 𝐈𝐫𝐞𝐧𝐞, a very successful company, they identified all the red tape around how you pay your bills, how you earn points. So they branched out and created our platform. So through us, the idea is you pay every single expense through our platform. We are payment agnostic. We are business agnostic, so we support everyone and we support every payment, and you earn points for every single dollar you spend. So that's done two ways. So through us, you can use a credit card to pay all your expenses, even when it's not accepted. So any suppliers who don't accept credit cards, any consultants who don't accept credit cards, contractors, you can actually pay all those expenses using your credit card. You're therefore tapping into the rewards program associated with your credit card and earning the max amount of points that you possibly could using that credit card, but also tapping into cash flow, which is really important to keep the wheels turning sometimes. So they're the two benefits of being able to use a credit card to pay all your expenses. If you're not a credit card user, and not everyone is, we have Pay Rewards. So Pay Rewards is our own rewards program that allows you to earn up to 2 points per dollar on all payments you make using your bank account. So it really is an Australian first program that provides point for every dollar you spend with your bank account. And no one else on the market offers that. And the points that you earn through us are fully flexible. So you can literally use them to redeem on anything you like. So
Mhm.
whether that be for travel with our airline partners, Qantas or KrisFlyer, so Singapore Airlines, whether that's redeeming for gift cards or whether that's being used to cover the cost of some luxury accommodation, some gifts,
Helicopter flights.
helicopter flights.
That was the thing that I was eyeing, and I went, "Oh my goodness, helicopter flights! That requires a few points." However,
It is. The sky's the limit with our rewards program because
literally, yeah,
we consider ourselves genies through this reward program. Send us your requests, we'll make it happen. We'll use your points to cover the cost of that. So, you could use it for your personal life, to indulge yourself in a helicopter ride, a luxury designer bag, or use it to reinvest into your business, into your property project, run a marketing campaign, we'll pay the invoice of the firm, and then you're generating further business from that, but you're not having to tap into your own cash of the business to facilitate that. We'll take care of that using your points.
that's amazing. And this is where again, you've got some slides here so that people can see how this all sort of works. I'll just sort of share my own experience. One of the things, I haven't had a credit card for years now. And that's why I was a little bit skeptical when I was like, what's this reward? So I've always I've always avoided credit cards for a long time because I'm like, one, it affects your serviceability, and two is that you think of credit cards and you're thinking, I can only use them on flights, for example, and that's where pay.com.au was quite different, because as I understood a little bit more about how it worked, one, I've got development projects, and then two, I've got a business. I've got my own business as well. And so if we talk about the development side of things, I know even in our own projects, we've spent at least 300,000 on consultant fees.
Yeah.
And that needs to be paid. However, I remember one of the first questions I asked of you, Irene, I'm like, they don't take credit card. And you're like, no, they don't need to take credit card. You can make payments directly to them through your platform, and it can come out of your bank account and paid into their bank account. And
Yes.
like I said, that was a big sort of like, mind-blowing moment for me.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, that speaks to removing the red tape. So putting the control and power into your hands to choose how you pay your bills. So just to explain how that's done, to be able to use your credit card to pay someone who doesn't accept credit card payments, is that we're a payments aggregator. So you'll log into your account, you'll select you want to pay your consultant that $300,000 using your credit card. We will charge your credit card and we will send it off to the consultant as a bank transfer. So they receive it as a bank transfer, but in that process, you've had the ability to use your credit card and earn those points.
Yeah. And so something like, and I know you've got an example here. Jet, can you please flick over to the slides? Thank you. Next. So we've got some sort of, we talked a little bit about pay across all your business expenses. So let's talk through this. Like, what sort of business expenses are we talking about? So there's we talked about consultants and contractor bills, but also like if you're you can pay your rent as well.
Yes. Yep.
And payroll if you've got payroll in your business, but not just the payroll, it's superannuation and ATO bills.
Yep. So every expense, and what's really quite amazing for anyone in property development, and it does account for a large portion of our customers. About 30% of our customers are in the property development space, and what's been an absolute game changer for them is that they're able to put property acquisition through the platform and earn points on what we all know is a large amount of money. So you're not just limited to, your baseline expenses that we are all familiar with, ATO, payroll, rent, contractors. You can put property through. So that just really speaks to the
Hold up,
flexibility.
Irene. Did you say you can buy property with pay.com.au, or is it through credit card?
So you can process the payment. So finalize the settlement of a property, the acquisition of a property, with a bank account through our platform, earning our rewards points and earn a whole heap of points in that process.
So
So
potentially, if you're buying something in cash or whatever, $1 million, or you're putting down something for, a deposit of some sort, 200, 300, 400, $500,000, there's potentially that number of points that you potentially could be earning from that. And okay, cool. So I know we've got some information here onto what that translate to. I mean, so if we were to say we've got 500 points from a whole lot of expenses. Next, please, Jet.
I think I'll just touch on one more thing, Cheryl. So with the ATO, normally if you're using your credit card to pay the ATO direct, they only offer you half your points. So another big benefit of using our platform is you get to capitalize and earn your full points on every dollar you spend as well.
Yeah, okay. That's good to know. Next, please. So before we go through an example, you mentioned a little bit about pay rewards. So let's dive in a little bit more, because again, pay rewards is more flexible than just booking airplane flights.
Yep, that's right. So your reward points can be converted to frequent flyer points if that's what you desire and seek. If not, or on the occasion that you've got ample Qantas points sitting in your balance and you want to use your points for something else, that's what you can do. So you can send a request through the platform telling us what you're seeking to use your points for, and then we will organize that. The other benefit of our rewards program is that our points can be shared. So in the situation that, a property project has 3 different people involved, those 3 people can all benefit from the rewards through the ability of being able to share reward points.
Fantastic. Yeah, and that's rewards points, but also if you want to access, I know we've looked at getting gift cards as well through Prezi, which is one of the partners, was that there was a whole range of gift cards that you could get.
Yes,
Well.
absolutely. So Prezi gives you access to hundreds of retailers that you can use that gift card at. So it covers everything from your supermarkets to your department stores, to Flight Centre even.
Designer brands, yeah.
Design brands, whatever you like. Yeah.
Bunnings.
Bunnings, that's it.
Developers say Bunnings. I want more Bunnings cards. Excellent. Okay, so pay rewards, and I've leveraged this before where I was looking to get, just even sort of to test the waters. And all right, I'm keen on a particular tablet. Irene and I were talking about this earlier this week, and I said, "Oh, can we purchase these with the points?" And Irene's like, "Yeah, we can absolutely." What we do need to weigh up though is it worth getting a smaller item and leverage the points, or are you better off saving it for a larger ticket item where you might be able to leverage more of the points? And I think this is really cool as well, having someone like Irene to be able to talk through, like there's a level of strategy as well in how you're leveraging your rewards points, which is quite good. So let's have a look at how do we accumulate these points, and then what does that actually mean? What does it actually convert to as well? Jet, next, please. Okie dokie. Lots of numbers here. Who's the numbers person?
I'll get Nish to go through this one.
Yeah, sure. So this is just using an example of putting spend around 500,000 using an Amex Platinum. So on that, you're roughly earning around 2.25 Amex points per dollar. Now, what that equates to, you're always going to want to use your Amex points to convert for flights because that's just giving you the best redemption value. To give you a rough idea, you're roughly getting around 3.5 cents worth of value if you're converting your flights to business class reward seats. So that's another benefit of our platform. Our customers are all about, maximizing their reward points. But instead of, using those points to necessarily say, look for economy seats tickets, we're always recommending our customers to find those business class seats because you're getting the most value out of it. So in this example, you're roughly spending around $6,935 post-tax to accumulate those 562,500 frequent flyer points. So Amex normally roughly partners with about 10 different airline partners. So that includes Singapore Airlines, Cathay Pacific, Virgin, Qatar, Emirates, the list goes on. What we've done is we've just given you a rough estimate as to what those business class reward seats equate to. So for that $6,935 spend, you're roughly getting around 4 business class return seats from Melbourne to Singapore as an example. If you were to put a dollar value on that, you're roughly getting worth almost close to $20,000 worth of value, which, as you can see, there's roughly around 3x on your investment, you could say.
Yeah, sure. So effectively, you're making those payments, and yes, there's a fee that's attached to it, but you'd be looking at the opportunity to purchase tickets, which would normally cost quite a lot otherwise.
Correct, and especially now with the airlines having the price hikes on their fares, I have a real life example that I could use. So I think just last month, one of our customers had booked a flight. So they were looking at a flight from Melbourne to Rome. The cash value of that flight was around $12,000, business class. Now the great thing, he had saved up enough points. I think in fees he paid around $6,500. But essentially, he was able to use those points to leverage those points to actually book a business class reward seat for himself, which basically almost saved him a half of that airfare ticket if he was to pay in cash.
Yeah, and we've got some questions here, and there's comments around, obviously, around the fees and things like that, and whether it's worth flying business class. I guess the point is that you don't necessarily have to use these for flights. I mean, one of the benefits is you can, and for those who do want the benefit of flying business class, I mean, if you want to fly to Singapore, their flights, sometimes if you can get cheaper flights. I don't know what the flights to Singapore are at the moment. But it's to be able to go, okay, what can I do with these rewards? Because I think the next slide sort of shows you the other things that you can use them for, and the return on investment from that aspect as well.
I think that leads on very nicely to the next slide. Yeah,
sure. Next, please.
Irene, you want to talk to this?
Sure. So this example here is based on using your bank account to process $5,000 worth of payments through the platform whilst earning our Pay Rewards points. So we do have 2 tiers of Pay Rewards points that you can earn. So you can earn 1 point per dollar for a 1% fee, or 2 points per dollar for a 1.8% fee. The 2 points per dollar is our most popular point earning rate that our customers will participate in all their transactions. So this slide here demonstrates that. So the earning of 2 points per dollar on $500,000 worth of payments. So as you can see here, the fees paid $6,570 to earn 1 million of our Pay Rewards points. Those points, when they're converted to Qantas Frequent Flyer or KrisFlyer program, you'll walk away with 400,000 points. So that will get you the equivalent of 3 return business class flights from Melbourne to Singapore with a dollar value of approximately $14,000. So how you can look at it in this example is that the investment is obviously the fees paid to earn those points, and the return is the value of those points. So you're getting about 2.1 times the return on investment. But of course, not everyone wants to travel and they want to use their points to book that helicopter ride, get that luxury bag or fancy new device from Apple. So if that was the case in this example, you would be walking away with $8,000 worth in gift card value for those 1 million points. So again, the investment being $6,570 to return you $8,000 in your pocket to enjoy however you like.
So you look at it as if you were going to spend that money of $8,000 anyhow on, and say those gift cards are basically a value that you can spend on a whole lot of different things. It's in anything that we're looking at is how can we leverage, how can we best use and be smart with our money. So if I'm going to spend $8,000, if I can save $1,500 approximately on those cards, then it's a savings in that regard. You're going to have to make those payments of 500,000 anyhow, and this is where we again, what Irene's role is to be able to say what's going to give you your best return on investment. Right? If you're going to have, there is a fee that's attached to it, absolutely. However, what's going to give you the best return, and then you make a call as to, oh yeah, I want them for those flights, or no, I want to be able to, use them for something else in the pay rewards. So it's again, if you're going to make it's how do we look at business and our transactions in a different way. This doesn't suit everyone, but definitely worth it from a business perspective to consider if it's something that is worth it for you and your business and how you do things. So let's share a little bit. What's the next slide here? All right, so you've got some pricing plans here in terms of using cards and everything. This is all on your website and so on and so forth. So we've got the points advice has been one of the most beneficial things that I've found, being able to say, I'm looking to travel somewhere, particularly for people who are needing to travel, understand how many points are needed to get to that level. And then being able to have someone like Irene on 𝐿𝐿𝐴𝐻 do a calculation to go, you need these many points and it's going to cost you this much. This is how much you would save from that. Because there's still a level of, I guess the example that we gave for business class flights, is there still a savings if you do it through economy flights?
Yeah, so you're still actually coming out on top if you're converting to economy reward seats. But if we were to compare the value of economy reward seat, which is roughly around 1.8 cents at the moment, compared to a business class seat of a 3.5 cents, you're always better off where possible, always looking for those business class reward seats, because you're getting roughly around double the value.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, so it's more so what's the valuable the most value that you can get out of that transaction. Excellent.
And all of our customers are different. They have different preferences when it comes to airlines as well. And that's where I think we can, provide advice on what are the best credit cards which are going to reward you specific, Singapore Airlines points or Qantas points. We're more than happy to, sit down, understand the goals of the business, and we'll be able to, find the best option and solution for them as well.
Yeah, and I just want to say, and I should have mentioned this at the very start, in no way is it saying you've got to use credit cards or whichever. I don't have a credit card, like I said. However, all the payments that we make are through our bank account. So again, if you have a credit card and one of the things people do, like as businesses, for credit cards, it's the interest-free payments. So from a cash flow point of view, can you explain, Nishan, how that works, and how from a cash flow point of view some businesses might consider that as beneficial?
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the key benefits of a credit card that actually a lot of our hospitality industry clients were using was most credit cards actually have up to 55 days interest free. So say for example, if I was to, purchase something on my credit card today, spend $1,000, I'd have roughly around 55 days, which I'm not actually incurring or paying any interest on that payment. So if I paid within that period of time, I just have to pay the $1,000 back, and that's it. So I just have the ability to actually leverage on my cash flow and tap into those extra days, which come in handy for a lot of businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And through projects as well. Obviously, we've got to, again, you got to pay consultants and all of that. You've got to just look at your cash flow from that regard as well. So, have a look at different pricing plans. I said when I first started, I spent a lot of time with Irene trying to decipher what was going to be the best use of the platform and whether I needed a card or not a card as well. And I know we don't have someone from AMex here, but I do want to talk a little bit about AMex because one of the things that I mentioned to Irene was my concern around whether it was going to affect our serviceability. Because when you have a credit card, and yes, that's the question here, whether pay.com is like credit card and affects serviceability. Well, pay.com.au isn't a credit card. It's a platform. So it doesn't, that pay.com.au on its own, and correct me if I'm wrong, that doesn't really even get considered in serviceability. However, if you use an Amex card, which I never knew this existed, but it's a charge card as opposed to a credit card. Irene, can you? Yeah.
Yes. So that's specifically the charge card you're talking about is the Amex Platinum card. So you have the Amex Platinum card, and then you have the Amex Centurion card. So Amex still has their own credit cards, but I guess the main difference between a credit card and a charge card is a charge card basically necessarily doesn't technically have a limit. So how Amex views that is they look at your previous payment history, and they'll give you basically up to a certain amount where you can spend up till without, I guess, actually having to have a certain limit, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so from a serviceability point of view, and please check this with all your finance people and all of that, it gets looked at in a different way and may not necessarily affect serviceability. From a business point of view, obviously you got, whether it's personal or business, check that out. But a charge card and a credit card, from what I've discovered, I treat it differently. This is not financial advice. Find out from your financiers and your lenders. I've only not long discovered charge cards, and that's why it's made me sort of think about cards in a different manner as well. And next, please. Awesome. So, and for those of you who are interested to sort of go, how can I apply this to my property development business? How can I apply it to my building business? Because obviously you're paying a lot of your consultants and tradies and everything else. Irene, I think you mentioned it to me. You've got quite a few clients that are builders.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about how they're treating payments?
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially these clients are using us to pay all the costs involved in their projects. So I have a great example of a client of mine who recently acquired a property and total project cost was $9 million that went through the platform. He's a perfect example of someone who wasn't interested in earning frequent flyer points and was interested in the flexibility that Pay Rewards provided. So he put his payments through using his bank account whilst earning our 2 points per dollar, which meant per dollar, which meant he walked away with 18 million of our points, which when converted to gift cards was $144,000, and the overall Pay Rewards derived a cash net benefit of $26,000 for him. So there's enormous value for anyone in the property space, because you're not limited as to what payments you can make, and you're not limited as to what payments you can earn points on. And it's entirely up to the individual as well. If you've got a desire to earn X amount of points, and that means you're only putting through 50% of project costs, then that's fine. You don't have to put every single dollar through. Obviously, you earn more points the more you put through, but we provide you with the full flexibility of how you use the platform, what payments you earn points on, how you pay your bills. Is it with your credit card? Is it with your bank account? We put that all in your control to really empower you to make the choices for yourself, and also earn the most amount of rewards that you possibly could for the expenses you're already having to pay or going to pay. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, this is, I know, for quite a few people that are listening, it's a little bit left field. It's intriguing. If you want to find out a little bit more, I said I asked a whole lot of questions because it was like so beyond anything I wasn't even looking for frequent flyer points at the time, but there was something about, well, there's so much cost that we're expanding. How can we be smarter with how we, with our money, and be able to derive something from it? And that's how we got connected as well. So definitely have a chat to Irene and 𝐿𝐿𝐴 to see whether it's something that suits you. Again, it's no financial advice in any particular way. The whole point of the business of property is to be able to share what's out there in terms of property development and property as a business. Like, if you treat your development business as a business, how you can do things a little bit differently. It will suit some, it won't suit the other. That's totally cool, but definitely worth having a chat to the both of them. We've got Irene's email, @pay.com.au. Reach out to her, ask her lots and lots of questions, and she's very used to lots and lots of questions. Do the calculations, right? Get those numbers out, really understand what the benefits are as well. And like I said, I was quite impressed with the difference and the range of things that you could claim it on, even just in terms of the gift cards. JB Hi-Fi, Kogan, all this, the usual big names. Which, if you're looking at Christmas presents,
Absolutely.
why not? Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Irene and 𝐿𝐴. Thank you, everyone that's joined us today. I know there are a few people that are probably keen to ask some questions. Pop them in the comments. Tag Irene on 𝐿𝐴 if you'd like them to answer your questions and you're watching the replay. And I appreciate you both for being here and sharing your time and a little bit more about the platforms. It's been great.
Thank you so much for having us.
No worries. Thank you. Awesome. Have a good night. So thanks so much for joining us, everyone, on this week's Business of Property. Make sure you visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Business of Property, where you can find all our past episodes, and you found value in today's show. Make sure you hit the like button and get notified when a new episode comes up. So until next time, keep well, take care, and see you all soon. Ciao, ciao. Bye.